Alright, now Paul Greco with you. It's Fantasy Pros 911 and it is Paul's preseason picks. I'm going to start behind the max. That's right, I'm starting with catchers to get you caught up on maybe what you haven't seen so far this preseason. Now, everybody knows whose number one catcher is going out there right now, and that's Joe Mauer of the Minnesota Twins. Now, last year, Joe Mauer had a very disappointing season, especially coming off that 28 home run performance in 2009. Last year, if you downloaded our free fantasy baseball guide, we told you Joe Mauer was going to be a bust, and that's exactly what he was last year with the 9 home runs. Now, a guy that moves from Boston to Detroit, that's Victor Martinez. Now, to me, Victor Martinez could easily be the number one catcher here in 2010. I'm projecting him to bat third ahead of Miguel Cabrera, which is going to be huge for him, and I'm looking for a 100 RBI season from Victor Martinez. Now, the darling from last year and the National League Rookie of the Year, his name is Buster Posey. This year, Buster Posey, look for him to get 20-plus home runs. I like him once again for a 300 batting average. Those are going to be numbers that are going to make him the number one catcher in the National League. Now, another up-and-coming young catcher who spent most of last year on the DL, and that's Carlos Santana of the Indians. Now, Carlos Santana, to me, is a guy that has 20 home run potential, probably hit you anywhere from about 260 to 275, but those are decent numbers for a young catcher. We stay with the young catcher, and the guy that everybody is touting to have that finally, that breakout season, and that's Matt Wieters of the Baltimore Orioles. Now, I don't see Matt Wieters hitting more than 18 home runs. I think he drives in less than 85 runs. Now, if that's your expectation for a guy that's going to bust out, be my guest. Go ahead, draft him. Feel comfortable enough with that. But to me, Matt Wieters is going to be one of those average, bottom 10 type catchers this season that I think a lot of people, especially in the auction, are going to spend way too much money. Now, Giovanni Soto, everybody was talking about he's done last year. Well, he did it once again, and this year he's going to do it again. He's going to be a 20 home run plus catcher. He's going to drive in 70 plus RBIs. He's in a great lineup, at least Paul Greco thinks so. I think he has another fantastical season for the Chicago Cubs and for your fantasy team. Now, some late guys that you may want to target. We heard the hype. Mike Napoli gets traded to 2 teams. First the Blue Jays and then off to the Texas Rangers, which I think is great for Mike Napoli. He'll share some time at first. He'll get behind the plate. He'll probably DH a little bit, all making it 20-plus home runs for your fantasy team. He's hitting in a great ballpark as well, and that can only help Mike Napoli, a guy that you can go ahead and snag late. Ryan Doumit, the guy from Pittsburgh. Now, this is the guy that's probably going to move into the outfield, and this can only help Ryan. If he gets back from behind the plate, gets out in the field, I think it makes him a little bit less injury prone, which means he's in the lineup for your fantasy team a lot more. Now, the rookie in Toronto is J.P. Arencibia. Now, the guy has a lot of power. The contact rate will probably be a little bit low, but if you can mesh that with a little bit of risk management, maybe get in the outfield, maybe get a little bit more higher average guys, I think J.P. Arencibia could be a 20 home run guy if he could stay in the lineup and stay in the major leagues. And finally, Chris Iannetta. I look for Chris Iannetta to have 20 home runs. I look for him to drive in close to 70 RBIs. And again, if you can get a guy like this late, I think it can only help your fantasy team. Don't forget, everybody's touting this year. Where are the home runs? It's a stolen base type year. Well, I've just named off several catchers that have 20-plus home run capability that you can get late in the draft. So go ahead and feel comfortable enough taking a 20-20 guy, a 20-30 guy. Get those combination guys and then maybe supplement your lineup with one of these 20 home run type catches that can help your fantasy team. I'm Paul Greco. You've been checking out Fantasy Pros 911. It's Paul's preseason picks. And don't forget, for just $1, yes, $1, here's your infomercial, you can go ahead and download the Fantasy Pros 911 Fantasy Baseball Draft Guide for only $1. You get updated rankings, Lenny Melnick's podcast, all within and embedded in your PDF. All that and more right here at Fantasy Pros 911. Go ahead and check us out in the combo package, the greatest steal on earth. It's our dollar menu value over at Fantasy Pros 911, where we have a ball. I appreciate it. Next coming up, we'll be taking a look at the first basemen that are going to help your fantasy teams here in 2011.